record numbers a year ago. And today a homecoming crowd hopes that he can breeze the Boilermakers back to the win column.
He hurdled. Oh my goodness.
Outside Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette, where today Purdue finally comes home in the midst of a schedule that's anything but Oktoberfest for them. Back-to-back losses, but now it's homecoming time, and they meet a red-hot team from Michigan State. The Spartans come in ranked 7th in the country. Hi again, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler. Welcome to West Lafayette, a matchup today of two top 25 teams for the first time in 33 years. And Purdue, after a 10-game winning streak was snapped 2 weeks ago by Michigan, trying to stop another streak now, and that's a 2-game losing skid, a heartbreaker to Ohio State last week. Michigan State, did they come out of nowhere? Well, they weren't ranked in the preseason top 25. They've moved all the way to number 7, their highest national ranking since 1966. An old Purdue quarterback, but young at heart, is my partner, Bob Greasy, and we see two young quarterbacks today who are darn good ones.
Two of the top quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Bill Burke is hot and on a roll. Last week, 400 yards against arch rival Michigan, 6 touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks. He likes to throw the ball down the field. Drew Brees has been cooled the last couple of weeks in losses at Michigan and at Ohio State in the rain. He leads the Pac-10, the Big Ten in total offense, 2 explosive offenses. I look for a lot of big plays today from these offenses.
I think we're going to see it in the air. Brees didn't throw a touchdown pass last week, but he did catch one. Homecoming number 80 here at Purdue. And the Boilermakers and the Spartans coming up in a minute. Third member of our broadcast crew with an interesting look at what's gone on the last couple of years. Let's check in with Leslie Goodell. Les?
Brad, 2 Michigan State-Purdue games in the last 2 years, 2 Michigan State losses after leading by 11 late in the game. While Michigan State's defense will look to contain Purdue's potent offense today, special teams has to keep from making any critical mistakes. In 1997, Purdue trailed 21-10 with 2:13 to play. They blocked Michigan State's field goal attempt, returned it for the touchdown. Michigan State's special teams mistakes ended up costing them the game. Then last year at Spartan Stadium, Purdue blocked the Michigan State punt with less than 7 minutes to go. Drew Brees threw for 2 touchdowns in the final minutes, and Purdue notched another come-from-behind win. Now, head coach Nick Saban has put some emphasis on this in practice this week, but the Michigan State players don't need to be reminded. They said they're well aware of what they have to do. They have to play until the final minutes run off the clock.
We could have one of those games where the final minutes, whoever has the ball may be the team that comes out on top. Nick Saban worried about the kind of letdowns that have hit his club over his tenure at Michigan State. And he said, quite frankly, I don't have any idea why sometimes we go into that last 5 games and end up being a 500 ball club. A lot of it has to do with all the emphasis put on beating Michigan, something they did last week.
And a lot of it has to do with scheduling.
That's right.
A lot of their easier games are in the first 5 or 6 weeks and the tougher parts at the end of the schedule.
Well, talk about a tough schedule. I said it's been anything but Oktoberfest for Purdue. Try Michigan and Ohio State, now Michigan State, and it doesn't get any easier next week either for Joe Tiller's troops, but he still has a club that's 4-2 in his 3rd season, 22-9 coming in. That's Gary Scott as Purdue won the toss and deferred. Michigan State set to receive Travis Dorsch's kick. Scott, the all-time leading punt return man in Michigan State history. Dorsch has got it teed up. The Spartans and the Boilermakers homecoming in West Lafayette. Scott draws a bead from the 3. Broke a tackle across the 15, a late flag out near the 30-yard line. That flag came from a strange position, nowhere near the kickoff return man. It was about 20 yards away from the play, but it's going to go against the Spartans. It's holding. And so they were going to start in a hole the way it was. Now they certainly will. They'll be inside their own 10-yard line. Let's check the chilly starting lineup for Michigan State. The Big Eaters up front. Payco, the junior college transfer, has been a good addition. Sakura, Jensen, Mason, and Robinson Randall at the right tackle spot. Plaxico Burress, a career game for him last week. We mentioned Gary Scott, and Chris Baker, one of 2 excellent tight ends for the Spartans. Burke at quarterback, Clemens a tough tailback, and DeJuan Moss the fullback. And it's the Spartans from their own 9-yard line. And this crowd is into it immediately. Spartans actually start with a 2 tight end grouping deep in their own territory, and Clemens trying to find some breathing room for them. gets about 4. James Dunnigan knocked him off his pins. Purdue defensively, the front 4. Adele Nugent, who's a 300-plus pounder inside. Mitrione, who scored a touchdown in this game 2 weeks ago, as Leslie was talking about, and Dinkins, the other defensive end. The linebackers, Lorzell, Fells, and Mike Rose. And in the secondary, a guy that no doubt will be busy today, Michoel Hawthorne, who's going to be lined up against Plaxico Burress most of the day. Beasley, Turner, and Dunnigan. Now the question is, will he be matched up with Burress, because it's Plaxico who's down on the turf.
Watch Burress. He's going to try and crack back and get a block. He's a very physical player. Knocks Hawthorne down and then just goes after him. I don't know where he got hurt there. I don't understand.
Looks like he hurt himself on that second hit on Michoel Hawthorne, and he's holding his shoulder, it appears. Well,
has always been a physical wide receiver. You'd hate to see a great player like that injured on a blocking, because you can't get wide receivers to block.
Last week he put his name up with the big timers in single game receiving yards, surpassing what Andre Rison did in a bowl game against Georgia, what Courtney Hawkins and Kirk Gibson did before him. 255 yards last week alone.
10 catches, a touchdown. He has been hot the last couple of games. Big loss if he can't return.
Absolutely. They stay with 2 tight ends, with Scott, the lone wide receiver now, with Burress on the sideline. 2nd down and 6. Clemens in motion. They'll give it to the fullback. Penalty markers down as Moss swarmed under at the 15-yard line by Fells and Lorzell, the linebackers. And let's see if we had a motion at the snap. Dennis Lipsky's our referee. Offside against Purdue, as they continue to work on their all Big Ten wide receiver.
Looks like it's a shoulder for Plaxico here. The physicalness outside. The wide receiver's doing a nice job of blocking. That's Jerry Scott right there. Oh, he's mugging. Well, that's a little above and beyond. Kind of mugging each other.
Boy, a guy that all week has been hoping that he could duplicate or come close to what he did last week, and now here he is in the first 30 seconds of play, injured on the sideline. Richardson joins Scott now in the wide receiving core. Inside handoff, and it's going to be a first down out to the 20. Willie Fells makes the tackle on Lord Clemens.
I think if you're Billy Burke right now and you lose your favorite receiver in the first play of the game, what you're telling yourself is just hold this thing together, make some first downs, let the guys work on him over on the sideline, and then he's going to be all right. You got to think positive and think that he's going to be back in the ballgame.
Previous best, you saw Burke's numbers from last week. His previous career high was against Purdue last year. 1st and 10. Chris Baker, the tight end, in motion. They fake the stretch, play action. Burke comes up throwing to the tight end, and he's got him for another first down, and he just ran over Adrian Beasley, the defensive captain, and kept on going for 17 yards. Boy, put a lick on the safety, and he moves it out to the 37.
83 going across the formation. That's the motion tight end. Baker is the 2nd leading receiver on this Spartan ball club, so he catches a lot of balls, and he's very physical. All these Spartan receivers can knock you down.
First down. They started this drive at their own 9-yard line. Opening possession. Here's the screen pass to Clemens. Broke a tackle across the 40. And he got out to about the 44-yard line. Picks up 7. Let's check in with Leslie on Burress. Les?
Brad, he's got a mild shoulder stinger. Looks like he should be back. In fact, he's walking on the field right now.
Just put his hat on. You're right. Here he comes. You can see his teammates, kind of some relief in the huddle. They're like, good to see you back.
You can see Bill Burke going over and slapping hands with him and saying, hey, bud, nice to see you back.
2nd down and a long 2 coming up. Opening drive of the ball game for Michigan State. Moss will be the lone setback, with Burress now trotting out up to the top of your screen. And Penalty flags down. McCoy, I think, came out of his stance, the tight end.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So it's going to bring up long yardage situation on second down. Bob, let's check in with the Dell Game Solutions for Michigan State.
Well, for the Spartans, just keep Billy Bird hot. So, you know, he's on a roll. Let's keep him going. Defensively, cool the breeze. The front seven have got to put the pressure on, and then tight coverage in the secondary.
So it's second down and a long 7 now. Back inside their own 40. Burke, play action. Down the middle, got his tight end McCoy, and it's a first down in Purdue territory at the 45-yard line. A pickup of 16, so it's the tight ends. We told you we'd see them both today, and they both have big plays already in the opening drive.
Well, here's McCoy right here. Burress is right here. He's going to clear everything out, and the other tight end, McCoy's going to come across the formation after it's cleared out over there right behind Burress. That's good all day long.
Yep. They stay with the 2 tight end set with Baker on the slot on the left side. First down, Michigan State at the 45 of Purdue. Burke comes up throwing again and drops over there by Burress. His first attempt after having the stinger. Let's check in with our stinger, John Saunders in New York. John.
Quarterback pressure by Michoel Hawthorne.
His emergence because Joe Burns out for the year with a broken leg for Georgia Tech. And some movement up front. Sakura tangled up in there with the defensive line.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Every time Michigan State finds himself in a short yardage or decent yardage situation, they back up 5 yards.
Yeah, that's just poise. Payco, the left, Tupe Payco, the left tackle, moved the 3rd penalty on this drive for Michigan State already. Poise on the road. When you go on the road, you've got to have poise. It's easy to play at home, but playing in front of a hostile crowd, you're there by yourself. You've got to keep that poise.
Just on their own side of midfield, the Spartans with a 2nd and 15. 7th play of the opening drive of the ball game. Burke, deep out, Burress, got him. Slides out of bounds at the 31-yard line. So the big fella picks up a 19-yard catch, his first of the day.
It's a nice throw and catch. Wide side of the field. Going on Dunnigan, number 5. Dunnigan's only 5'9". Burress is 6'6". Nice timing on the throw. He had it in the air, gave him a lot of room to catch the football. Nice drive going here.
Burks look good.
4, 5, 60 yards. 4 different receivers on this drive.
First down at the 31-yard line of Purdue. Burke again to throw. Short over the middle to his tight end. And down to the 23 goes Chris Baker. You know, when you're a coach and you're looking at a guy like Burress, you say, how can you possibly stop him with that size differential Bob's talking about? We put that question to Joe Tiller.
Well, we were thinking about taking one of our DBs and taping his feet on the shoulder pads of another DB, and we'd double team him that way. And that way the guy on top could look him eye to eye. So I don't know. This guy's a big physical receiver that certainly is going to challenge you. I think the most effective defense against him is to disrupt his routes.
They didn't a moment ago. You love that coverage idea, though, don't you? Here's Clemens straight up the middle. And inside the 20, Adele made the tackle at about the 18-yard line. Clemens not a flashy back, but he gets the job done. And he is dependable, and Nick Saban says he is my guy. Really no question about who is in the backfield. And, of course, they've had so many great runners over the years. He doesn't put up quite the same numbers. But the 6-year senior does have 300-yard rushing games already this year. And he doesn't get dropped for a loss very often. At the 18-yard line, Spartans another first down. A 10-play drive, and it's taken a little over 4 minutes to get down in Purdue's red zone. Burress got him. Touchdown. What a catch.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable throw and catch there.
He had to make a mid-air adjustment, get around the defensive back, put his head on a swivel, tipped it with one hand and caught it with the other. What a grab.
One right here. Don't hit the center.
18-yard touchdown strike.
Burke, who is tall himself, to Burress, who is 6'6". Look at that. Throws it to the outside. Soft hands. Burress comes down with it. Just good pitch and catch there.
Ettinger for the point after, and he hits the upright, and it comes out.
One of the best kickers. One of the best kickers in the country. Just misses an extra point.
So that's the only thing that went wrong with that drive. He hits the upright with the extra point, but the Spartans have scored first with 10 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. A guy that was shaken up on the first play, shaken and bacon in the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan State. As I said, the only thing wrong with that drive was the missed extra point. 91 yards, 10 plays. Hurt in play number 1 is back and makes 2 catches on the drive. 2 of the 6 completions by Burke. The last one, 18 yards and a touchdown. So Burke continues his hot tear of the last few weeks. Ettinger to kick. Lane and Clopton waiting on it for Purdue. Chris Clopton runs up on it at the 14-yard line, and straight up the middle he goes. Found a little seam, and he squirts out to the 31-yard line. That's where Purdue will go to work offensively. And the big uns up front. Matt Light, they say, playing as well as anybody, with Murskowski, Niedrak, Starnes, and Gorin protecting Drew Brees. The wide receivers, Sutherland, Daniels, and Lane. Stratton, a dangerous tight end. And in the backfield, the Heisman candidate in Drew Brees. Montrell Lowe with a 153-yard game last week. Really a breakout performance, though a losing effort against Ohio State. And there's Drew Brees, who I mentioned in the open, did not throw a touchdown pass last week for the first time in 19 games. But there's his numbers, leading the Big Ten with over 300 yards per ball game. 4-receiver look to start things. Play action. And Brees comes up firing as we expected him to do. Complete to Chris Daniels. A pickup of about 8 against a Michigan State defense that, with the nickel defense in, will look like this today. Peterson, an outside linebacker, in essence will be a defensive end with Myers, Shaw, and Robert Smith. The linebackers, just a couple of them in this setup with Turner and Thornhill. The nickel defense, the 5th guy in there, will be Lorenzo Guess with Hill, Newsom, Eric Morris, and Ant Campbell. 2nd down and 2 on the second snap for Purdue, and it's a little bit of speed option, and they didn't get the first down. They didn't get much at all, in fact.
Speed option, and the reason they didn't get much is because the wide receivers for Purdue didn't get any blocks. Michigan State's receivers are getting some blocks, but Purdue's receivers need to block if that thing is to work.
3rd down and a long yard. Michigan State brings in an extra defensive lineman. This will be the closest to a normal set you'll see for Purdue. Straight up the middle, I don't know. Going to be very close. The spot will determine whether or not Lowe got the first down. Nick Myers hit him low, and he stumbled forward and might have picked it up.
So hit by Desmond Thomas.
And they do say first down. They don't even look at it. Let's check the Dell Game Solutions for Purdue, Robert.
Well, patience and big plays. Michigan State defensively is very aggressive, but they do give you some big plays, so some around there. Defensively, they got to put pressure on Bill Burke. It's easier to knock down the quarterback than it is to cover Plaxico Burress.
That's right. 3 wideouts to Drew Brees' left side. And Daniels up to the top of your screen. Now it's Sutherland in motion. He'll get the handoff on a little end around. And Vinnie Sutherland, with all that speed, goes out near midfield. Richard Newsom made the tackle.
Well, we mentioned big plays for Purdue being one of the keys, and Vinnie Sutherland has got the speed to do it, but he's not going to throw it long necessarily. Just hand him the ball or throw it to him shortly. Nice blocking there on Peterson. Good first down play. Michigan State very aggressive defensively, likes to get you in negative plays on first down.
Jim Chaney said, we don't mind second down and 8 or 9, the offensive coordinator for Purdue. I don't know the last time somebody said that to us, but he didn't mind that. He didn't want second and long. Brees coming back the other way. He's got a man wide open. It's Daniels. He'll score. Touchdown, Purdue. He beat Amp Campbell on the corner, and quite frankly, I think Amp Campbell's back's been hurting since the second defensive snap. He's limping a little bit out there. Most of you know his story, obviously, but the story offensively for Purdue is Chris Daniels in the end zone.
When we talk about big plays, Amp Campbell right here, he's going to look over here to throw here, but Campbell's going to look in to see. He sees too much. He sees Brees pump. Now he lets his man go. He comes back
limping
and throws deep.
Amp Campbell limping out there. No match for Daniels, wide open. Dorsch extra point is up and good. Purdue leads.
Well, we mentioned patience and big plays, and Purdue exercised both on that drive.
A 69-yard march took exactly 2 minutes. Boilermakers in front. Purdue 69 yards in 2 minutes. A season-long reception for Daniels of 51 yards for the touchdown. And their extra point was good. Another Brees coming through here in the first quarter. Purdue by 1. And Travis Dorsch has got it teed up. Gary Scott waits along with Herb Haygood for Michigan State. There's Amp Campbell. Again, I think he was injured on Vinnie Sutherland's end around, limping badly. He's had problems with his back as well. He should, having broken a couple of vertebrae in his spine last year. Spinal fusion surgery. It's amazing he's playing football, but he's had a bad lower back the last couple of weeks. And he has obviously re-injured that, we hope, to just a minor degree. But he's heading to the locker room, and he's one of the spiritual leaders and emotional leaders of this Michigan State defense.
Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown. Brees looks this way to his left. It's a pump and go. Now he wants to throw this ball to the left. Look at him. He's still looking left. Everybody's covered, so he goes back to the right, and Daniels, number 20, beats his man Campbell. Campbell looked in and saw everything going to the left, and he let him go. Good job by Daniels to keep it alive, and then by Brees to come back and say, hey, you got something for me over here, Daniels? I'm coming to you.
And another key to that, how about that offensive line giving him that much time to scan the field?
For sure.
So now Burke brings up the Spartans. They trail by 1, but they were impressive on their opening drive. Burke play action, completes it out to Burress. Another first down toss, fumble. Loose ball. Purdue's got it. James Dunnigan with a fumble recovery.
Purdue has led the Big Ten in turnovers for the last couple of years. Wide open, double coverage, pitch and catch.
Hawthorne's the guy that stripped it.
I couldn't tell if the ball came out before his knee was down or not. Yeah, that's a good call. The ball came out. His knee was close, but not on the ground.
So Michoel Hawthorne makes a big play, stripping it just before Burress hits the turf. Dunnigan recovers, and at the 27-yard line of Michigan State, Purdue goes back to work. Montrell Lowe splits out. It's an empty backfield behind Brees. Sutherland in motion. He gets a call, wants to throw, and does. Lowe's out there, and it's broken up. Beautiful play by Richard Newsom, who read that one nicely.
Well, he barely got back, too. Newsom.
It was there.
From behind the defense, Sutherland, who's thrown balls in high school, quarterback, if he would have gotten it down the field, if he could have thrown it 10 more yards, he would have had a chance. But Newsom does a good job. I worry about putting that ball in the hands of somebody else.
Especially when you got number 15.
Yeah, and letting them throw the ball just because they might get intercepted.
Second down at 10. It's Brees from the shotgun. Looks left, goes back right again. Sutherland, touchdown. Perfect strike. 27-yard rocket from Brees to Sutherland. It's 13-6 Purdue. An injured Spartan on the play. And that smile of Drew Brees tells the whole story for Purdue, obviously.
I like the call. You're inside the 30. Here's the receiver out here. He's just going to run a takeoff. Defensive backs don't expect you to run deep routes when you're inside the 30-yard line. He runs a takeoff straight down. Nice execution and a good call, Jim Chaney. You know, the rain, it's raining out here. It doesn't seem to bother Brees. This is the 3rd week in a row that he's played in the rain.
That's right. Joe Tiller said, you know what, let it rain. I think we're used to it by now. There's Brees' numbers, 2 touchdowns. And he's only had to throw 3 passes. It was Robert Smith who was shaken up for Michigan State. He's helped off the field. Dorsch in for the point after. And penalty markers down on the play. Dorsch is backing up, so it's going to be against Purdue.
Snap. False start, offense. 5-yard penalty, still the try.
And it makes it a little bit dicier on a wet field. There's Sutherland.
Home. I love you, Mom, Dad. All my old coaches from Palm Beach Lakes High. Doing it for you guys.
For all the coaches and Mom and Dad, a 27-yard touchdown catch. Now Dorsch, in essence, a 25-yard extra point attempt. Right down the middle. Purdue takes advantage of the fumble recovery. Brees lays it out to Sutherland. Touchdown, Boilermakers. Plaxico Burress on the sideline, hoping to make up for that fumble that led to Purdue's touchdown, and thus a 14-6 lead. Dorsch to kick. High kick's going to be handled by Haygood at the 2. Haygood, nice little move, got across the 20 out to about the 23-yard line. Trust me, there's some stuff outside this stadium tailgating today that tasted pretty good, as homecoming number 80 here in West Lafayette welcomes home one of its native sons, Bob Greasy, who's been shaking hands and kissing babies for about 3 days.
I was driving around campus, and things are a little bit different. The trees are a heck of a lot bigger than they used to be. I want to tell you that.
A heck of a lot older.
Yeah, I don't think I was growing that much.
A lot more rings in those trees. Burke throws on the run, got his man right near the first down marker, and it's Gary Scott, one of the captains. Let's try to get an update on Amp Campbell. Leslie?
Brad, Amp Campbell's been taken inside to the locker room. He has a bruised hip. They're going to ice it down and then determine whether or not he'll be back depending on how he reacts to it. As for Robert Smith, he has a mild shoulder strain, and they expect him to be back in the game.
All right, Les, thanks.
Well, they can't lose him. He's a difference maker.
He and Peterson, coming off those ends, are the guys they rely to get pressure on a quarterback like Brees, who's almost impossible to sack.
Well, we've played about a half of the first quarter. We've already gotten over 200 yards in passing from both teams.
You and I were talking about it yesterday. This is not going to be a short game. Here's a handoff inside. Clemens bounced down about a 3-yard gain. Lorzell, the linebacker, made the hit.
Lorzell used to be a wide receiver. Joe Tiller moved him to linebacker. Tiller used to be a personnel guy in the Canadian Football League, and so he's got an eye for talent and has moved several players from one position to another, offense to defense, or vice versa.
Those 9 seasons Joe was with the Calgary Stampeders of the CFL. 2nd and a long 7 for Burke. Straight over the middle again. That tight end has been his target, and I think forward progress is going to have a first down. Ball comes loose at the end of the play, but it's whistled dead at the 45-yard line. Now Bill Burke has been on some kind of roll, and the roll continues.
Yes, sir. He has been hot, and he continues to be hot. I'll tell you what, whenever you've got a tight end in your offense that can catch the football, that opens up the outside, because if he's got 2 good wide receivers.
2 good tight ends, too.
And he's got 2 good tight ends.
He's a quarterback that's playing with as much confidence as we have ever seen out of him. It's amazing. This time a year ago, he was kind of bouncing around in there. They were wondering if it was Van Dyke or Burke or who was going to play quarterback. There's no doubt now.
It's nice to see Billy Burke having a lot of success after the struggles he went through the last couple of years.
Burress has played big play wide receiver to his left, but he's going down this time. Wow. Aiken Adell weaved through a blocker and just ran over Burke way back at the 35-yard line.
Burke was looking downfield and didn't see Aiken coming. He's looking back to his right and just doesn't see the defensive man, and you can't see the defense. You've got to feel him, because if you're looking at that defensive man, you're not going to see the receivers downfield.
Looked like he was riding down a street on a bicycle and hit a light pole.
Yeah. You've done that before, huh?
Yeah, I have. 2nd and 18. Plenty of time, deep middle, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Beasley, going the other way. His 4th interception of the season.
He's trying to hit the receiver from behind the goalpost. He's going to come from this side over here on the left side. He doesn't see the free safety. He throws the ball down the middle, and he doesn't see the free safety.
He didn't see the rusher earlier, and he didn't see number 7 right in the middle of the field, and that's the first mistake by Burke today, the 2nd turnover by Michigan State. We have offsetting personal foul penalties as they mixed it up a little bit near midfield after Beasley ran it back to actually the Spartan side of the 50.
Yeah, that's the 10th interception of his career for Beasley. He's only one behind the all-time career interceptions leader here at Purdue.
That 4th one will put him in the top spot in the Big Ten, at least for right now. And a first down, Purdue. See if they can take advantage of another turnover. The last time they got the fumble recovery at the 27 and only took 2 plays to put it in the end zone.
You're turning Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator, loose. Good field position, turnovers. Look for some down the field plays or some big plays here in the next couple of plays.
First down at the 49. Daniels in motion. Brees pump fakes. Now comes back to his safety valve. Montrell Lowe, and Lowe's got a first down. I think he wanted Sutherland deep down the sideline, Bob, but he thought better of it, and he still gets a first down throw.
You're exactly right, Brad. Anytime they pump like that, they're trying to get the receiver to... Here's Sutherland. He's going to go down and run to the inside, and then he's going to go back to the outside. That's the pump. If you stop it right here, that's when he's pumping. He's pumping, and now he's going back, but he was covered, and he just dumped it off.
Now with a 2 tight end set, they'll put it on the ground. Michigan State doesn't allow anything in the rushing attack to their opposition this year. They're leading the country right now, allowing 37 yards a game. They just gave Lowe 1 yard, and Lowe has 1 yard on each of his 3 carries so far.
But the Boilermakers aren't going to beat the Spartans on the ground.
No.
And I think with Jim Chaney, the coordinator, has Michigan State back on its heels now defensively because of the good field position for Purdue and the wide open offense that he's going with. He's got him back on his heels a little bit.
2nd down and 9, and that same Jim Chaney said, you know, I don't mind 2nd and 9. You got to love that attitude. For this quarterback, I guess you could think that way. Brees looks right, comes back across the middle of Daniels, and he weaves his way down close to the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a long 2. After we remind you, next Saturday, our college football action continues with regional coverage. Most of you will see Penn State and Purdue, or Michigan State and Wisconsin. The other regional action, Nebraska and Texas in the Big 12, Pac-10 battle, USC, Stanford, North Carolina, Maryland, and the ACC. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Call your cable operator, DirecTV, or Dish Network for all the games on pay-per-view. Drew Brees is 5 for 5 for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got 3rd and 2 here, empty backfield. He'll throw unless it's a quarterback draw in the making. Complete. Daniels, first down. Pitch and catch. Down to the 23-yard line. Pickup of 7. So Brees hasn't missed one yet. I think a lot of you saw John and Terry talking about Wisconsin. Ron Dane, 167 yards and a couple touchdowns. Joe Hamilton, another 2 touchdowns, 300+ day passing. And now Drew Brees says, I'm going to stay in the hunt. Perfect so far, and has his team in front 14-6. 3:46 remaining first quarter. Cedric Brown just checked in, and he gets the call. And Robert Smith, who went out shaken up earlier, makes a stop after about a yard or yard and a half gain.
Joe Tiller's system spreads the defense with 5 wide receivers from side to side, and Brees makes the plays. Here he keys the 2 safeties, and he wants to get the ball to the tight end down the middle. Take a look from behind as he looks the safety off. We're going to see him from behind. He looks the safety to the left off with his head to keep the middle of the field available to the tight end going down the middle.
4 wideouts. Here comes the quarterback draw. And Brees slides into the 12-yard line in front of Richard Newsom. That's always in the arsenal, especially when you're all spread out, 4 wideouts and a tight end in the slot, and Brees takes off with it.
It's one of the best running plays when you spread everybody out from left to right. It's easier a running game for Purdue than having a fullback, a running back, and 2 tight ends in there and try to physical against Michigan State. Spread them out and run that way, and that's what they're doing.
Just inside the 13-yard line. Now it's Brees under center with 4 wides and the tight end in the slot on the left side. On a first down. It's Sutherland on the end around. Waits for his blockers. Got to the 10. That's about it. And Robert Smith stretched that thing out. Matt Light took him out of bounds with the play. It's a pickup of about 3. Smith, the senior out of Flint, Michigan, 6'5", 269. As Bob said, he's a difference maker from that defensive end spot.
Purdue has not done well the last few weeks inside the 20-yard line.
They had to settle for 3 field goal attempts, 2 of them good, inside Ohio State's 15 last week, and then the last 2 weeks, 8 times in the red zone, only 2 touchdowns. They're down at the 10 right now, the 2nd down and 8. Brees calmly flips it out to Daniels. Touchdown! Chris Daniels from 10 yards out. He's in the end zone for the 2nd time today, and Brees has thrown 3 in the first quarter. Nick Saban's worst nightmare is coming to pass here in the first 14 minutes.
All these points coming off of turnovers, or at least the last 2 scores.
Dorsch extra point right down the middle.
Well, they finally went to a blitz. They started blitzing. Linebackers kind of come in from over here. Here's the receiver just going to break to the outside, take it on time. 3-step drop, hits him on the run, and Daniels gets it in.
He had Eric Morris draped all over him, but Daniels had just enough to get past the pylon right there.
Great effort to get in. Morris, a strong safety, going against Daniels, a wide receivers, and that is some of the matchups that Jim Chaney was telling us that he hoped he would get when he was talking to us yesterday.
Morris, a great hitter, especially in run support, but they thought maybe they could pick on him a little bit. They did there, and Brees is perfect.
I just looked up on the screen and I saw him let that back on the playoff.
Well, it's not as if Michigan State doesn't have the weapons to come back.
That's right. There's Morris, the man that tried to prevent that touchdown and just couldn't.
He told us last night he'd much rather play a team like Wisconsin that runs the ball than a team like Purdue where he has to cover wide receivers.
The kick will go to Haygood at the 1. Haygood runs into a pile and bounces off it at the 15-yard line. Tom Vaughn down to make the hit, and a good one it was on special teams. And 2 touchdowns, one after the fumble recovery at the 27, then a 49-yard drive in 8 plays, capped off by Daniels moments ago. So turnovers have cost them dearly. Play action, Burke's in trouble again. Got away once, didn't get away twice. Great effort by Matt Michoel to stay with it. Loss of 5 on the sack.
Purdue is doing this with just a 4-man rush. The defensive end on the left, on our left side, Adele is the first guy, and then Michoel gets in and finishes him off. But that is just a 4-man rush on first down.
Purdue had 16 sacks on the year coming in. They had 6 against Steve Belisario last week. And now they've put the Spartans in a bit of a hole here. 2nd down and 15 from behind Burke. Straight drop. Wanted to throw a screen. That blew up. Finally, he does get it to Clemens. And he only got about 3 yards back. Clemens couldn't get out in the pattern trying to set up the screen pass.
Burke did about all he could do with that one because the screen was read very well. Because of the turnovers, Purdue has had great field position. In fact, in Michigan State territory, Michigan State's been backed up every time they've had the ball.
And they're still inside their own 14. 3rd down and 11 in the final minute of the first quarter. Little John Flowers flanks Burke in the gun with 3 wideouts. Burke flares it out to Flowers out of the backfield. And he gets across the 20, but that's it. Going to be well short of a first down. And Michigan State's going to have to kick it.
Now Brock's back, the defensive coordinator for the Boilermakers, knowing that he's got 3rd and 11, just had him drop back in zone, force him to throw the short pass, come up and make the tackle. Bill doing the smart thing, not forcing it downfield. You don't want another interception. This thing will turn around, hopefully, and that's the way Michigan State's got to think it.
Craig Jarrett on to punt. Vinny Sutherland, who's already done some damage today and is leading the Big Ten with over 17 a return. I think we're going to wait for the next quarter to start and kick it from the other direction. That's what we'll do. End of 1. Purdue, 21 unanswered points. And they're in front, 21-6. An action-packed first quarter, especially if you're a Purdue fan. 21-6 on 3 Drew Brees touchdown tosses. And now Craig Jarrett with the first punt of the day, back inside his own 10, and Vinny Sutherland awaits on the other end. Jarrett's 12th in the country in punting. It's a pretty nice kick here. Sutherland camps under it from the 28. Got by the first wave, and Sutherland out to the 37-yard line. Our game summary so far in this one: Michigan State, a 91-yard drive capped off by that great catch by Burress. They missed the extra point, and then it was Daniels behind Amp Campbell for Purdue's first score. Then the lofting throw to Vinny Sutherland made it 14-6, and then Daniels just got to the pylon, 21-6. And here's how the quarterbacks look: near perfect, with the exception of Burke throwing that one down the middle to Adrian Beasley.
Pretty good so far.
We knew the ball was going to be in the air. We didn't know it was going to be that efficient at this stage. And here's Mr. Efficiency. Hasn't thrown an incompletion yet. And with 3 touchdowns in quarter number 1, how many might he throw before the day's over, unless Michigan State can make some adjustments? He comes up firing. There's the first incompletion. Throwing it out to Chris Daniels. And Nick Saban knew that he was going to be in for a long day if Drew Brees could get off early, and he has.
Hey, Stoffer.
Well, I think Drew Brees is an outstanding quarterback for a couple reasons. I think, first of all, he's very accurate for a college quarterback. Secondly, he's difficult to pressure and affect in the pocket because of his athletic ability, and he has a good sense, and he's a good scrambler, and he can still throw the football from scrambling, and he's a great competitor.
Here's a pitch to Lowe. And the running game, as Bob said, that's not how you're going to beat Michigan State ever.
But
and Thornhill makes the tackle. You still have to run sometimes.
You still have to go with it. You just can't drop back and throw every play, but you still have to try. But just know that you're not going to beat Michigan State by running the football. I love this kid, Brees. First of all, good decisions. He's bright. He's very accurate. He makes plays, and he's a leader. Notice I didn't mention arm strength till I got down to 5 or 6. In the bottom there, when things don't go right, you got to have thick skin, boy.
Now, is that Drew Brees or is that Bob Greasy we were just looking at there? 3rd down and 9. They're going to have to hurry. In fact, they're going to have to take a timeout and live to see another play without having to come up with a penalty. They lead 21-6. 14 minutes to go till halftime. "14 minutes till halftime with Bob Greasy and Leslie Goodell. Brad Nessler with you in a packed house for homecoming for the Boilermakers, and they're making the most of it right now. Leading 21-6, but a 3rd down and long situation. They're 2 for 2 on their 3rd down so far today. Trips to the left for Brees, looks that way and fires. Daniels got it inside the 40 and down the sideline. Out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Daniels 36 more yards on that one. He's on his way quickly to a 100-yard receiving day.
Well, Michigan State's blitzing. Here they've got a corner coming in. Daniels is right here. He's going to go down and break to the outside. Brees knows how much time he's got, holds the ball just long enough, and Daniels beats the single coverage. Big 1st down. Blitz on 3rd down.
Daniels already has over 100 yards and catches. They've thrown toward him 7 times. He's caught 6 of them for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. And here's Donald Winston, thrown almost laterally by Brees, and he may have lost a half yard there. 13:40 till halftime. 21 unanswered Purdue points, and they're looking to add more. Michigan State scored on a 91-yard drive, missed the extra point as it hit the upright, but Drew Brees has been near perfect. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Daniels, 1 to Vinnie Sutherland, and he's 10 out of 11 throwing the football. That's enough to make a defensive-minded coach like Nick Saban have a headache. At the 27, 2nd down and 10. Brees scans the field, lofts it, completes it. 1st and goal. Robert Tolbert with a catch.
He's picking them apart.
20 more yards.
There he is right here. He's just going to come down the center of the field. Brees waits till he clears the linebacker and softly throws it over his head. But the key is the protection that he's got.
Absolutely. Great job by the group up front.
Michigan State came in with 23 sacks on the year. They haven't gotten close today.
1st and goal at the Spartans 8. 4 wideouts, and the tight end Stratton in there. Brees across the middle, touchdown. Randall Lane, and that's number 4 for Drew Brees in the 1st half. Wow. Drew Brees told us he thinks he's been hesitating too much in the past couple of weeks, and that he's not pulling the trigger like he did last year. If he keeps this pace up, he's going to have a bruise on that trigger finger. Extra point by Dorsch is good.
Let's take a look from behind the defense. There's just a little crossing route just outside the view on the right side. Lane and the other receiver kind of crossed, or a rub, or a pick if you're a defensive guy. But you're right, he is on a roll. And so much for that hesitancy.
Wow. He's only thrown 1 incompletion, 4 touchdowns, and a guy. Brees that'll bring him out at the 34-yard line. With the empty backfield and 6:07 to work. Purdue's got only 1 timeout remaining before the break. Brees, only 3 of his last 10 have been completions. Oh, what a shot that was to Daniels.
What a catch.
Wow. That thing had some zuzu on it, and Daniels handled it in double coverage at the 42-yard line. 24-yard pickup. This ball does not take long to get there.
Daniels is here, and he's just going to run a swing down the sideline. But watch the safety as the safety sees it all the way. This is just one great concentration to hang on to the ball and take the hit. Hill and Newsom were the defensive backs on him.
Here's a little draw play. And inside the 40 goes Cedric Brown. TJ Turner's had a big game, makes the stop, but Purdue a second down and 8 coming up. 5.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And Brees says, who can I throw to now?
He just looks confident.
Yes, he does.
He just the swagger, just the way he carries himself. He knows he's in a zone. He knows he's having a good day. He's got a defense that allows you to make plays because they're aggressive and they're man coverage in the secondary, and then you can make plays.
Second down along 7. He's under center from the Michigan State 39. And they will run it. And it's Brown. Flags down. See if a holding call will negate a first down rush for Purdue. Something we haven't said all day, I don't think.
We don't say that a lot.
Not a lot, anyway. It is holding, and they'll bring it back. Well, as they walk it off, we've got our Aflac trivia questions for this week for you. The question is, who holds Michigan State's record for career touchdowns? And that's touchdown receptions. We'll have the answer for you coming up in a few minutes. It may shock some. Michigan State folks probably know that one. Nick Saban's team coming in with its highest national ranking since the mid-60s. And with 5 minutes left in the half, they're on the short end by 2 touchdowns. And brilliant execution by the passing game of Purdue. They got long yardage here, though. Second down and 17. Brees with Sutherland and Daniels to his right. The safeties are going to bring the heat again, and he comes up throwing to Daniels. And he's bumped out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. He gets rid of that football in a hurry.
And he had to because he knew that he didn't have enough bodies to block all the white shirts that were coming.
Daniels having a field day in the first half. 163 yards on his 9 catches, and 2 of them have been for touchdowns so far today. There's the numbers.
He averaged 9 catches coming in today. That was 3rd in the nation.
Well, we know one thing. He's not going to take the second half off, so he's going to add to him.
Here they come again.
Brees steps up, lofts it. Daniels got another one. First down, Purdue, the 25-yard line. Wow. 19 more yards.
He sees the blitz coming. And he knows, here's the blitz coming with these 2 guys up the middle. And now you don't have enough guys. But if he can wait long enough, he knows he's got somebody in the secondary. Holds it as long as he possibly can until the man breaks. Just good execution, but the camera went away, but Brees took a good hit on that too.
Daniels may end up with 200 yards receiving before halftime. 10 catches on the day. Brees pump fakes, comes back to the right. To the corner, and overshot his intended receiver, Keith Dawson. And good coverage down there on Dawson by Suggs, who was the guy that was called for the penalty on that punt return a moment ago. So second down and 11, and just for a second, all the folks here at Ross-Ade Stadium kind of exhaled, took a breath. They haven't been able to sit down or slow down. This is one half of football, folks, if you're just joining us. Drew Brees, 311 yards and 4 touchdowns.
In the last 2 years, he has not thrown well or not played well against the Spartans, at least for yardage-wise anyway.
Here's the option. Pitch to Brown. Cedric Brown down to the 21-yard line, where it's going to bring up 3rd down and a long 6.
You've got to try to run some. You just can't drop back and throw. This is a speed. Watch the wide receivers, see if they get just a piece of their man anyway. Just stay with them. That's a good job. Simpson, number 80, just staying with him.
This is not the kind of option attack where they're going to risk Brees getting tattooed by a defensive end. They just want to pitch it out there and get rid of it.
He's going to throw it quickly.
Yeah. He's asking for quiet. 3rd down along 5 from the 20 of Michigan State.
He's coming.
Brees over the middle. His tight end Stratton again. He's got the first down near the 12. Morris made the hit with help from his friends, but they moved the sticks again. Third catch for the tight end, 2 of them on 3rd down, as a matter of fact.
They're just sending somebody every time now. They're trying to get there, but Brees sees it, and again, throwing in the direction that the blitz comes from. It's the tight end. I said it before, if you got a tight end in the back that can catch, boy, you can move down the field and make first downs.
I don't know if I've ever done a game where somebody threw 5 touchdown passes in the first half. We may see that here in the next 3 minutes.
Well, he did that, but they called it back.
That's right. Brown. Oh, man, did T.J. Turner give him a whack right about at the line of scrimmage. Turner has been one active middle linebacker today. He's the guy that has the 2nd Michigan State touchdown. 2nd down and 9. Brees on a crossing pattern to Lane. Got him at the 5, and he goes down there. Maybe got to the 4. He is using all his receivers.
Right here. 4 yards, the gain of 7.
Lane, who has a touchdown catch already today, and here it is, just a quick one over the middle.
You see a few more white shirts in that secondary. It's because Bill Miller went to a 3-man line and dropped 8 down inside the 10-yard line, and that's a little bit different wrinkle. And I like it. If what you're doing isn't working, change it and do something else.
Randall's in there as a tight end now on a wing right, and 4 wideouts for Brees. On 3rd down, got it to Daniels, touchdown! There's number 5. What a show! I think Nick Saban's saying it was a pick play down there. He is red hot at the officials. But Daniels has caught his 3rd. Brees has thrown his 5th. And it is 34-14. Chris Daniels, 11 catches, 186 yards, and 3 touchdowns from Brees. Dorsey's extra point is good. It's 35-14.
Anytime you play man coverage inside the 5-yard line, you got to look for this. In-right receiver's going to break to the outside. The outside receiver's going to break to the inside. Defensive coaches call it a pick. Offensive coaches call it a rub. I didn't really see anything there that was illegal.
The rub just beat the pick, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's just a lot of people in a short area. I mean, now if the offensive man actually blocks the defensive man, that's a pick and it'll be called. But just because you've got 4 people in a small area and the 2 offensive guys are crossing, there's got to be a lot of confusion there.
Drew Brees has dialed up 7 different guys and dialed up 5 touchdowns. And now he's dialing upstairs.
And he's hearing nothing but good things.
There weren't good things said on the sideline at Michigan State after that last touchdown. This was Nick Saban talking to his defense.
That defense came into the game ranked 17th in the nation in overall defense. They were 9th best in points allowed. They only allowed 14 points a game. In the first half here, they've allowed 35 to Purdue.
Halftime at Ross-Ade Stadium, and Purdue leading Michigan State 35-14. They trailed 6-0, and then they started to go to work with Drew Brees at the controls. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy. You know, I know you don't even want to give him those 2 interceptions, but you take those away, and he has been sensational.
He has, and he's thrown the ball to a lot of different receivers, and they've blitzed him, and he's beat the blitz some, and sometimes the blitz has got him. But that happens when you get hit. The ball goes up the air, but you know, just as you get the touchdown passes, you also get attached to the interceptions. At halftime, we had an opportunity to listen in some of the tape between Drew and his coach Greg Olson up in the press box. This was what was played during the first half.
Good job on the wide cross. Were you thinking red 73 or red 93F?
Yeah, I was thinking it because it looked like they were walking down there at first, and it's almost like they dropped by. It looked like a goal line zone or something.
Because
they were all just
across the board.
Yeah, but it was almost.
They were going to bring it. I'll promise you, they're going to bring it.
Yeah, and if they were coming from a long ways off.
Right. Oh boy, I wish to take that one back, huh?
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had it been in gun,
feel him. Yeah, if it'd been in gun, it'd been okay.
Well, yeah. The reason I wasn't is because I knew it'd be smaller windows down there, and I wanted to get rid of it quicker. And I was about to go 93F.
Right.
And then I figured, oh, you know, they were too far, and then I'd already said set. Right. When I said set, both those safeties ran up, and so I held the set.
Right.
Shit,
who are you going to there? You got one timeout left.
Right.
Be aware of the clock, but if we get it back, hell, the way we're going right now, we want to try and score again.
Right, Coach.
Take points no matter what.
All right, Coach.
Whether it's 3 or 7.
All right, Coach.
All right.
There's our ABC Inside Access. Drew Brees with his conversations with his quarterback coach, Greg Olson. And okay, coach, okay, coach. A lot of smiles in there when you got 5 touchdown passes.
That's for sure. And
get your attention. First down, Michigan State now, having prevented the extra 3 points by Purdue. And Clemens will take it for a 2 or 3 yard pickup by Greasy. And I've been here a good half a week getting ready for this homecoming. And who better to sing the homecoming song?
We used to sing this song. Oh Purdue, how you make me shiver with your old sweet shop and your Wabash River. Oh Purdue, oh how I do love you. Oh Purdue, by the river. Huh? That's pretty good. Where you guys been? You haven't learned that one.
Oh boy! I tell you what, don't give up that day job.
Well, they didn't know that song. I mean, that was one of the old timers. They knew the other one though.
Oh man, that was fun to practice in the twilight down by the river. Here's a throwback screen and almost intercepted. Matt Mitrione almost had him. Jason Lorzell, who already has an interception, almost had his second one.
This is a key drive and a key series for Michigan State coming out. They stopped Purdue offensively from scoring, and now they need to get something done to set the tone for the second half.
Now Burke, who started so hot, now 16 of 23, 180 yards, a touchdown. And he's been intercepted twice, and he's lucky it wasn't number 3 just a second ago. 3 wideouts for him. He's been unable to get it deep to Plaxico Burress, his big play man. He's wide to the top of your screen. Burke's coming back the other way. His tight end has been open most of the day, and this is going to be a first down and then some across the 45. Chris Baker taken down by Willie Fells, but he got a 14-yard gain.
And Baker broke a tackle to get that first down. He did a nice job to keep possession of the football.
6 catches for Baker now for 68 yards.
Bill steps up, looks downfield, gets to his outlet. That's not fair for a little guy like Dunnigan, 5'9" and 185 pounds on that big tight end.
Both starting tight ends have 6 catches for each respective team today. First down. Outside the 46-yard line for Michigan State, trying to battle back in this game. And again, it's the tight end. At midfield, it's Baker. He's got a lot of black jerseys draped all over him, but he picked up about 4. Willie Fells was one of the first ones there. Let's check in with Leslie.
You know, Brad, yesterday I got a chance to talk to Bill Burke, and he said at whatever point his football career comes to an end, he may just end up in the broadcast booth. He said after traveling to so many football schools, he likes the idea of becoming an analyst. And there's one thing he said he learned from Bob Greasy just yesterday, that when he goes back to Michigan State to do a game, he's not going to try to sell the opposing quarterback on how great the other team is.
That's right. He said that away from the meeting when you were involved.
Yes.
He waited until he got outside with Leslie. That's a good one. Here's the off tackle of Clemens. Cuts outside inside the 40, down the sideline, and bumped at the 26. Best run of the day by Lloyd Clemens. A pickup down to first-yard territory at the 26-yard line.
Now, the longer the offense stays on the field and the more plays they run, the more confidence and the more emotion that this team is going to get, and keep the the defense on the sideline. They've been on the field a lot.
Well, this is only the 5th play coming up offensively where Michigan State's had an offensive play in Purdue territory all day.
Yeah.
Still, they got 14 on the board.
Yeah. One of them was a defensive score.
Right. Hagood in motion. Burke drops. Throwing long for Burress. Got him.
Great catch.
At the 2, it's 1st and goal.
He's one of those exceptions where if you're double covered, you throw it anyway. And that's what Bill did, and that's what Burress caught. From behind the defense, normally if it's double coverage, you go somewhere else. But he makes an outstanding throw over Hawthorne and in front of Turner. And the 6'6" Burress just goes up and makes the play.
That's the only place that pass could be, or Hawthorne would have tipped it, or Burress wouldn't have gotten to it. Duckett checks in at the tailback spot, the big freshman. It is 1st and goal. The pitch to Duckett. Touchdown, Spartans.
Big drive there.
Huge. 35 to 20 with the extra point coming up. Edinger's come on. They'll go for 1 here. So Duckett is their short yardage blaster, and he knocks it home from just inside the 2. Edinger whistles and flags down on the extra point. Maybe Dave Secura might have come out of his stance.
There's the man that made the play that got him in position to score. It ain't over. It ain't over. It ain't over. That's what he's saying. Yep.
There's the numbers on Plaxico Burress. Now the extra point's not a chip shot for Edinger. Remember, he hit an upright to open the game after the first Michigan State touchdown. Now he's back from 25 yards out. Yes, just got it. Just barely got it. 8:53 remaining in the 3rd quarter. T.J. Duckett has gotten Michigan State back to within 2 scores.
And he'll hit you.
He'll run you over if he gets a chance. High pooch kick. See if anybody calls fair catch. It's going to be taken by one of the tight ends across the 30. And good field position for Purdue, so they tried to pop one up there and see if they could come up with a loose ball. Drew Brees.
Let's take a look at Drew and see where he's throwing the football. We mentioned it was a ball control type of offensive passing game. Well, behind the line, he's 1 of 1. From the line of scrimmage, 15 yards downfield where he's done most of his damage. 29 passes, completed 21 of the 29, and 7 passes down the field. Gives you an idea of where he's throwing the football.
4 for 7 on the 15 plus. They're going to keep it on the ground out of Lowe. And Lowe got 2 or 3 before Turner stopped his progress. And there's Drew Brees' numbers on the day. 371 yards and 5 touchdowns.
And they can't stop. That's the key, and that's the Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator, telling him don't stop scoring points because Michigan State averages 35 points a game.
They seem to have pulled in the reins a little bit on their last offensive series, and now to open this thing up, they did run it to Lowe, but you can bet a pass is coming now. And it's across the middle. Broken tackle. Daniels still on the run. He's got a 1st down out near midfield. And Daniels with his 13th catch. You got to love that. Our man Pat McGrath over here keeping stats has just moved Daniels into the quarterback category because he ran out of room with 13 catches.
Well, Daniels has caught 13, as you mentioned, so that gives him 70 on the year. Broken tackle right there. And you're going to catch a lot of balls, you know. And you know, Daniels and Brees are the best of friends.
Yep.
And when you've got a good friend, you know, you think alike. You got to get him the ball a lot.
How about only giving up a sack every 100 attempts or so? That's not bad. Here's a quarterback draw, and Brees broke a tackle inside and got to the 45. Nice run. Morris made the tackle. Actually, I'm going to correct myself. That was the 14th catch by Chris Daniels on a 13-yard pass play. So 14 already receiving today. Second down and a long 4 at the 45 of Michigan State. Play action. Brees rolls, throws. Tight end's got it. Stratton first down. Inside the 35. And Stratton's putting up wide receiver type numbers. 92 yards receiving for the tight end.
I like the way that Joe Tiller, Jim Chaney run the offense. They move the pocket. They're not always sitting inside the pocket. Little play action that time, got him outside. The tight end coming across was like the 3rd or 4th choice.
We've got a long ways to go in the 3rd and all of the 4th quarter, and you just marvel at watching the numbers increase for Drew Brees. Here comes a blitz from the secondary, running for his life. Down he goes. Thomas Wright, the freshman safety, came flying off that corner. Nobody touched him, and he got to Drew Brees way back at the 48-yard line.
It's only the 4th sack of the year on Brees. He sees it coming. Now he wants to get rid of the ball and just kind of can't find anybody to get rid of it to. I think what Michigan State needs to do is continuing to mix the blitz in there every now and then, every 4th or 5th play, and do it from different angles, up the middle, on the side, the corners, different people.
Some indecision on Michigan State's defense as to personnel and who to have out there. The linebackers kind of running around. Josh Thornhill didn't know if he was supposed to be there or not. And with that, they call a timeout. Michigan State was 6:12 left 3rd quarter. (35-21) Purdue. After Michigan State took a timeout, confused on their defensive alignment, and the head coach got involved over there.
Nick was a defensive coordinator for 4 years with the Cleveland Browns, and I think he's going to get a little bit more involved in the play calling here, the defensive play calling.
Second down at 24. They're showing the safeties coming again. Penalty markers down, and Brees will just hold it. Boy, they've been bringing Newsome and Wright and those other guys from the secondary to try to get some heat on Brees.
Prior to the snap. Snap infraction on the offense.
Snap infraction.
5-yard penalty. Still second out.
It's a fake snap. He act like he was going to snap it, but he didn't. He probably moved the ball. That's one you don't hear called very often.
A snap infraction. Sounds like something you could get in the wintertime that'll keep you in bed for a while. I'm not sure what that is. Back at the 48 anyway. Here come the safeties coming up close again. Tight end's been a big thing on a slant here, especially Stratton. And the officials aren't ready to put the ball in play yet, so both teams are ready, but they're trying to get the clock reset. And so everybody was in their track stance. And now the officials say, go ahead. Second down at 29, Purdue.
You got a lot of room up here. Inside technique by the corner.
Brees looks right, comes back to Sutherland, who had been out earlier favoring his leg a little bit. May have just been a cramping problem. Got a short gain of 5 at the 6-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Leslie Goodell with you and our ABC crew from West Lafayette, Indiana. We've seen Drew Brees light up 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. When I said earlier we've got a long way to go yet, if you're starting to wonder what the tops that he has put on his passing numbers, 522 and 6 touchdowns are his best. And of course everybody remembers 83 attempts against Wisconsin last year. We don't expect to see quite that many, but you never know. 3rd and 24.
You got single coverage at the top again.
They pick up one part of the blitz. He gets rid of it, but nobody home down the middle. And a penalty marker down. They may call roughing the passer.
Or intentional grounding.
Nick Myers was in there on Brees late, I think, but maybe not. It is roughing the passer on Michigan State.
Oh, boy. Well, you got a good blitz. You got somebody on top of him, and you just hate to have this happen.
Peterson got the initial pressure, as you can see, 98, but then it's 75 that puts a helmet on him.
Yeah, that's a good call. There is no question. What Nick is complaining about is there was nobody where he was throwing the football. He said he wanted intentional grounding,
But the referee behind the quarterback, when the ball is thrown, looks at nothing but the quarterback and the defensive men. If you hit the quarterback late, you're going to get called for it.
And they did, and it moves it down to the 32-yard line. First down, Purdue, leading 35-21. Brees wanted to go out in the flat, buys himself some time, pump fakes. Now he goes down. Robert Smith, second sack of the day on Brees. He just couldn't get the trigger pulled fast enough. Let's go to John Saunders in New York. John. A thriller there and a high-scoring one here. 35-21. Purdue with a 2nd and 19. Brees, all his receivers to the left. And he goes trying to thread the needle, and it's intercepted. It's Morris coming back the other way. Cross at 35. Breaks a tackle, picks up some blockers.
He's gone.
Eric Morris might take it. They've only got one touchdown and an interception today. Morris down the sideline, 74-yard touchdown.
Oh, Big Mo is just wearing a green hat right now, I'll tell you.
74 yards, 88 earlier by T.J. Turner, and the defense has stunned the Purdue crowd. The captain of the defense, who said, I know I'm going to be a busy guy. I'd much rather play against Ron Dane in Wisconsin than have to see all these passes all over the field, and he just swiped one and took it for a touchdown.
He said, I'm half linebacker, half DB. I don't want to play those passing teams.
Ettinger's point after. We've got a one-touchdown game.
And that team is alive. The green on the other side of the field is alive. And I'm thinking that Purdue has got some concerns, even though they are up 7 points.
So the third touchdown, or the third interception rather, thrown by Drew Brees today. And that negates the brilliant performance that's included 5 touchdown passes.
Yeah, now that was his fault all the way.
You know, when you think about it, Drew's thrown 5. He had 1 called back, and he's thrown 2 to the other team. He's thrown 8 touchdown passes today. They just aren't all of the same guys. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Impala by Chevrolet. Let's go for a drive. Grecian 5, new generation of hair color for a new generation of man. National Car Rental, so what are you waiting for? Let's go. And State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've been combining and picking corn and everything on a nice weekend here.
Let's go for a drive, and they showed that combine.
Combine out there. Boy, we saw some cornfields disappear in the last 3 days we've been here.
Yes, we did.
Things were 8 feet tall. We went to practice one day, came back the next day, and every pheasant in the country was someplace else. First down, Purdue. Brees throwing short, complete. About a 5-yard pickup to Robert Tolbert.
Pass complete to Robert Tolbert.
So now Purdue just trying to settle back in, regain their composure. Their lead has been sliced to a single touchdown.
Now that zone that Drew Brees was in the first half, he's feeling a little uneasy and a little less confident because of the closeness of the game and the poor throw that he made to get that pass picked off for a touchdown.
14 unanswered points by Michigan State. Second down and 5. Again, they bring up an extra man close to the line, and they will come with a blitz. Brees to Daniels, his favorite receiver. That's number 15. Out across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
And the reason he goes to Daniels is that first of all, he knows he can get open. And secondly, he knows that he'll protect him. He won't run a route where the defensive back can cut in front of him.
I think that catch just broke Brian Alford's receiving yardage mark in Purdue annals. Chris Daniels' catch. He's up to 232 yards. And Brian Alford had the best number before that last catch. School record.
It's hard to compare players that play in this system with others that play in the other system.
I agree with you. Nonetheless, he's come up with huge plays. Brees coming back the other way. Out of bounds at the 48-yard line. And that one goes to Chris James, the freshman. So now with the way things have turned, it probably is going to take a 500-yard Drew Brees game for Purdue to hold on and win this thing.
It's not what Drew Brees has done so far. It's what he's going to do the rest of the game.
Exactly.
That's going to win for Purdue.
There's the 14 unanswered points in the third stanza that I just mentioned. Since halftime, complexion of this game has changed dramatically. 2nd and 5 for Brees. Looks left, comes back to the slant. Daniels again.
That's a catch.
Man, to the 38-yard line.
And the reason Daniels is catching so many balls is 2 reasons. Number one, they're throwing a lot of balls. And secondly, there's man coverage in the secondary. Daniels is not a great threat like Burress is, with great speed and everything. He can catch the ball, but he doesn't have that tremendous speed. And he's a big target. He's 6'3" and 220 pounds.
He's got it to a first down at the 38-yard line of Michigan State. So Purdue is taking it right back into the face of the Spartan defense, trying to answer with a score of their own, but they're going to take a timeout. And with the timeout, let's go to New York and John. First down at the 38. Daniels and Shine, the freshman, go out to the left side and Lane to the right. Daniels in motion toward the ball. Brees pumps twice, comes back to a wide open Daniels at the 30. Cuts back inside to the 20. Another move to the outside. Down to the 1-yard line. What a run after the catch.
Daniels knows that the ball hasn't been thrown. He gets open, and Brees knows I can go back to him. That's why he catches so many passes. A great effort to get in the end zone.
One of the all-time great wide receiving performances that we've ever witnessed, and we're probably going to see more before the day is done. Montrell Lowe, the single setback from inside the 2. Cartwheeled and knocked back by the Michigan State defense.
He was cartwheeled and headed back in the other direction.
He was. Sean Wright, one of the first guys there to help send him southward.
He flipped him over and headed him back in the other direction. About the only time you'll ever see Purdue with 2 tight ends and 1 back in the ball game at the same time and only 2 wide receivers.
Remember, Michigan State's defense does not allow rushing touchdowns or much yardage, but Purdue's got it down to the 1-yard line. 2nd and goal. They'll throw for it. Brees, if he can get rid of it. Now he's going to run. He got there. Touchdown.
It's a rushing touchdown, but it wasn't easy.
Drew Brees has thrown 5 and now scored his 2nd rushing touchdown of the year from a yard out.
That is a huge drive for the Boilermakers. He wants to come to our right side. Look at him looking over that way. Nothing happens, and then he just takes off. And his athletic ability just gets it in, but a huge drive by a guy who talked about his qualities. The top one was good decisions, intelligence, but making plays is right there also.
Dorsch's extra point is good, but a flag is down. Penalty marker on the play. I think might go against Michigan State, and the extra point will stand. Dorsch will tee it up. What a treat, this homecoming crowd. I don't think any of them sat down since halftime, and they didn't sit much in the first half. Herb Haygood and Little John Flowers waiting on Travis Dorsch's kick. And he got all of this one. Haygood over the shoulder, and it'll come out to the 20. So at the 20-yard line, Michigan State will go to work. Our Applebee's game fact today, climbing the Purdue passing charts. Number 4 in total offense, 2nd in touchdown passes. He's added 5 today, 4th in attempts and completions and yardage, and number 1 in completion percentage. And of course, there's a long line of great quarterbacks that have played here, including my partner to my right. But this kid is having one of those
I don't think I'm even listed in that book anymore. I don't even think I'm on the list.
The red zone the last 3 weeks. Michigan State's been very effective as they have been today.
Excellent.
Second down and 10. Trying to cut this Purdue lead to a touchdown.
Single coverage outside.
Pump and the throw, and it's intercepted by Beasley. Adrian Beasley's got his second one of the day. Cuts back to the middle of the field, broke a tackle, and out to the 41-yard line. 41-yard return.
That's his second interception of the day. You just can't wait that long. Here's the single coverage. He's going to throw a post pattern, and this is the man that's going to see it and pick it off. You got to throw it quicker. He looked at him all the way. The free safety, Beasley just went right through him.
He was trying to get it to Burress, as we said, with Hawthorne out. They were going to try to hope for single coverage out there, and he didn't get rid of it, as Bob said, fast enough.
Let's watch Burke's eyes. He's looking to our right side the whole way and just takes Beasley. You can't believe how much the vision of a quarterback will take defensive backs one way or the other till you've been there.
2:28. Penn State has already won today. When John last checked with us, Virginia Tech was winning. Michigan State, number 7, their highest national ranking since 1966, and they're in trouble here in West Lafayette. Here's Lowe, and he's taken down by Julian Peterson. That team of Michigan State in 1966 got all the way to number 2. They tied number 1, Notre Dame, in one of those games of the century. And the last national championship and undefeated season was mixed in there. Their last Rose Bowl win was '87, but remember those '66 teams with Gene Washington and Clint Jones and George Webster and Bubba
Smith. I played
Smith.
against those guys.
2 of those guys were chasing you.
Not only in the Big Ten in Michigan State, but they went on to play in the pros. They were chasing me there.
That's right.
George Webster and Bubba.
Great players.
Hey, great guys.
Brees scans the field. Now he's going deep, and Randall Lane had broken off his pattern.
He threw it away.
Player the last 2 seasons, but they in both games came from 11 back. Now they're playing with a 14-point lead and a 3rd down and 7. They've done well on 3rd down today. Brees, Daniels won't get this one. Morris again. The captain on defense makes a big hit.
Dead ball foul, personal foul on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, personal foul gives the first down to Purdue. Ooh. And Robert Smith is getting a helmet full. That might be the kind that'll cost you a game, or at least a chance to get back in.
Well, it's like a turnover. They had Purdue. They had to kick the football away. They had to punt it away, and now Purdue gets the ball back.
And a first down back in Michigan State territory, just inside the Spartan 49. And now Purdue can take their time a little bit, use some clock, and put it on the ground. And they do. And a good run it is. 5 yards at least for Cedric Brown inside the 45. Chris Daniels has passed Thomas Lewis now for the all-time single-game Big Ten record. Thomas Lewis at Indiana at one point went 285. Daniels has 287 yards, 19 catches, and 3 touchdowns.
And you know what? He's looking for more.
Yes, he is.
He said, throw me the ball. We need to win. Make first downs. Let's go. I'll get open.
2nd and 5. He comes out to the near side. And now back in motion toward his buddy. Play action, Brees rolls. And he's going to get tagged out of bounds by the other defensive end, Nick Myers, who's had a good game. 3rd down and 8. I'd keep my eye on number 20 if I was playing defense.
I would too.
Brees over the middle to his tight end. That's another idea. Stratton's got it, and I think that puts him over 100 yards receiving. First down, Purdue.
When the blitz comes from the middle, and these 2 guys are blitzing, try to hit in the void where they left. They blitz up the middle, the tight end pops out right in that area.
The undefeated.
And they've scored 2 touchdowns. They've got to be aggressive. Try to shake the ball loose. You got to keep blitzing.
Here they come on a corner blitz, and they wipe out Brees. And again, it's Myers who's one of the first guys there. And that'll make it 2nd down and long. Ross-Ade Stadium on a homecoming October Saturday in the midst of an October schedule that's a nightmare, but it could become a dream for Drew Brees and the Boilermakers, because it looks like they're going to end their 2-game losing skid. They were beaten badly by Brees, has been cooking all day.
He's the trigger man. He's the playmaker.
From the shotgun, closing in on 500 yards passing, throws it out quickly. First down. The toss, not a first down, down to the 33, pickup of 6. But Drew Brees today, first one to Chris Daniels long, and then Vinny Sutherland for another touchdown. Comes back to Daniels on a crossing pattern. He stretches out to score across the middle to Randall Lane for his 4th and his 5th touchdown. His favorite receiver today, number 20, might end up with 20 catches before the day is done. 3rd down and 7. Michigan State needs a stop. There's only 6:20 left. Brees all day. Down the middle, Daniels has got it. Number 20 to number 20 to the 20. First down, Purdue.
I like that, partner. 20 to 20 to 20. From behind the defense, from the right side of the screen. Crossing routes, the tight end had gone from left to right, and Daniels goes the opposite direction. But the timing is so good. One of the reasons he catches 20 passes is that he gets open at the right time when the quarterback is ready to throw the football. A lot of receivers with more skill and more ability will run through the open area or not get open at the right time. He's got that clock in his head that he gets open when Drew's ready to throw.
They're down to the 20-yard line with 6:05 and the clock running. They're down to the red zone. Michigan State might be to the dead zone if they don't come up with another turnover.
Yes, no question the defense needs something.
Cedric Brown, the single setback. Now it's a 2 tight end set.
They're coming too.
As Purdue will keep it on the ground. And he almost popped that out. He got 4 to the 16 as we go to New York and John Saunders. Their schedule and their march might take them to New Orleans. Drew Brees asking for some quiet. He's had everybody on their feet all day. 2nd down and 6. Going to throw to the corner. And he flags, yes. Keith Dawson, the intended receiver, and he got bumped by Ronaldo Hill at about the 5-yard line. 11th play of the drive.
Penn State comes in next week.
2 tight end set they stay with, as they're just going to give it to Cedric and see if he can hold on to it and blast into the middle of the pile. 2nd and goal at the 7. Brees has thrown 5 touchdown passes today. Got it to Daniels. Another catch to the 5. Only about a 2 or 3 yard pickup. Well, the kid from Louisiana Tech last year against Nebraska had a big game.
Yeah.
This guy is right in that ballpark right now. 3rd and goal.
Here they come.
They'll blitz. Brees, crossing pattern incomplete. Intended for Chris James. And it's 4th down. Out of reach. But if somebody can get a hand on it, we still have a game. Kick is up. It's good. With 3 minutes and 19 seconds remaining. Time running out on undefeated Michigan State. It's to score and score in a hurry. See if they can get a decent run back. Haygood from the 6. And only to the 26. Well, this team belongs to these fans, and a coach who is seeing a national championship possibility evaporate before his very eyes.
That last drive by Purdue took 6 minutes and 21 seconds off of the clock.
Burt in trouble, down he goes, the ball's loose, scooped up, Purdue touchdown. I think they'll take the celebration penalty if one is forthcoming. Dave Nugent just scooped it up and went in for a touchdown. Aiken Adele made the hit, and his big buddy at tackle, 300-plus-pound David Nugent just scored, and it's lights out for the Spartans. The quietest guy, I can guarantee you, on the Purdue team, just had one of the loudest plays with 3:01 to go. Dorsch extra point is good. This kid wouldn't say boo to you if you spotted him the B in the first O, but watch this big play.
Right here, gets wide, pass rush, the quarterback's got to throw, knocks the ball loose. And when things are going right for you, it's going right.
Adele the hit, Burke coughed it up, and then number 82 did the rest.
Penn State comes into Purdue next week.
And they better have it strapped on tight. But you can bet LeVar Arrington and those guys are thinking, I can't wait to get my hands on Drew Brees, but can they get their hands on Drew Brees? Today, Michigan State has picked off 4 of his passes, and they're still on the short end, 52-28. The rest of the season, now they can pretty much be aware that may still include a Rose Bowl somehow, but the national championship has gone by the boards for all practical purposes. Touchdowns, but Drew Brees, 5 touchdown passes for Joe Tiller.
And you know, Joe Tiller was at Wyoming when he first recruited Drew Brees out of Austin, Texas. And Brees says, I don't think I want to go to Wyoming. And then when Tiller came to Purdue,
he said the Big Ten sounds like not a bad idea.
He said the Big Ten sounds better. He says, I'm coming.
And boy, is Joe glad he did. Pass across the middle, short of the first down. Out to about the 25 as Flowers. 2:40 remaining.
Drew Brees said yesterday what an honor it would be to be part of the cradle of quarterbacks, but that he doesn't feel he's there quite yet. He was also quick to mention that the other quarterbacks on that list didn't play in the kind of offense that he does. That's why he has such big numbers, but he would love to be part of such an elite group when he leaves here.
Well, I know he's thrown enough today to probably put a half a season on the board for my partner.
Well, we'll just have to take a vote.
Almost intercepted. Willie Fells had a hand on it, so did Chris Baker.
I think Baker caught it twice and Fells caught it once. This Purdue defense, 5 sacks on the afternoon, 5 takeaways.
There's the first catch almost. There's the second one almost.
No, you take it.
Neither one of us got it. At the 25-yard line. The faces on the sideline tell the stories. Inside handoff, first down run. Flowers cuts outside, got a little bit more, and he takes it out to the 36-yard line and out of bounds with just over 2 minutes remaining. We're going down to the final 2 minutes. Bill Burke needs points and in a hurry. Down the middle, deep, and Fells has got this one. Willie Fells, the middle linebacking senior. That's the 6th turnover of the day. This is a happy bunch of Boilers right now.
Yep. This has got to do a lot for the confidence of the Boilermakers, and it's got to be a gut check time for Bill Burke and the Spartans.
Willie Fells just spiked the ball on the sideline. I think the linesman threw a flag. Here's the interception, though, that led to the celebration.
Yeah.
Intended for McCoy, the tight end. And Willie does a little dance on the way to the sideline, and now they're going to pick the flag up. He spiked it on the sideline. The referee now just picked the flag up, said forget about it. We've only got 1:56 to go, and we all have to catch a play. So at the 45-yard line, Purdue's got it back.
6 takeaways on the day. Purdue led coming in today, the Big Ten, in takeaways. It's been a long day for young Bill. It's the 3rd year at Purdue for Joe Tiller, and boy, what a turnaround he made when he came. Back-to-back winning seasons. Not only winning seasons, but 9 winning seasons, 9-game winning seasons.
Penalty marker down, probably a holding on one of the better runs of the day. And Joe Tiller says, you got to be kidding me. We finally get our running back outside on the corner, and they'll bring it back.
Purdue had only one winning season in the previous 12 years before Joe Tiller came, and he immediately won 9 the first 2 years with somebody else's players.
He engineered back-to-back winning campaigns and bowl wins, including a win over highly ranked Kansas State last year in the Alamo Bowl. And now they're going to go to 5-2 and 2-2 in the conference. And our Chevrolet players of the game. Michigan State, T.J. Turner had 2 interceptions. One of them he took a long ways for a touchdown. Chris Daniels, what can you say? The kids caught over 20 passes today. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And starting this year, Chevrolet also donates $1,000 to the 2 high schools of those 2 young fellas.
Wait a minute, guys. Now, wait a minute. One of my quarterbacks throws for over 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, and we don't even get a mention in the player of the game, huh?
Well, Chris Daniels, how many times are you going to have somebody catch 21 passes for 301 yards and 3 scores? I think Drew will have another day like this, maybe. He's had him before. That's very close to his best ever. 522 against Minnesota last year. 509 here this season, and he may not throw another pass before this one's over, but the ones he threw were good for 5 touchdowns and leading his team to an upset of the 7th-ranked team in the country. Now everybody in close. Brees takes a knee. And now the celebration can even start on the sideline. Purdue had lost 2 straight. But what a resounding way to come back and start another streak. A breeze that became a gale force today. Purdue's going to win homecoming number 80. They upset Michigan State. The Spartans fall from the ranks of the unbeatens. And 52-28 is the final score. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. For Leslie Goodell and Bob Greasy, Brad Nessler saying so long from West Lafayette.